I saw that commercial when I was 7 years old. So what? Why am I showing you this commercial? Well, I'm using this commercial to introduce something that we read about this week on page 250. On page 250, we learn about advertisements. And one of the first things we learn under the heading of advertisements is reality and fantasy. On page 251, there's a paragraph, the one that says pre-operational stage. In the pre-operational stage of development from age 2 to 7, a young child's thinking is egocentric, meaning he can see the world only from his own vantage point. The child also tends to focus only on what can be seen and not what lies beneath an action or an object. So, in this case, I focused on the cause and effect in the commercial. If you spell out the word vampire and you eat it, any vampires that are behind you will disappear. If you spell out the word ape, and if there's an ape behind you, if you eat it, that ape will disappear. Now, on the next paragraph, there's a sentence that reads, children this age think literally and accept advertising claims at face value. And that is precisely what I did. Now, how do I know that I accepted this commercial at face value? Well, one time I was watching this commercial and I was eating cereal. It just so happened I was eating Alpha-Bits. Yeah. And as I was eating, I noticed that my cat, my Siamese cat, was behind me. So I looked behind me. Yep. Sure enough, he was there. And I thought, I wonder, let's see, C-A-T, And imagine my disappointment when I turned around and my cat was still there. And I thought, hey, wait a minute. If they could do that in the commercial, why couldn't I do it with my cat? See? There's an example of how I, at age 7, was unable to distinguish between reality and fantasy. Okay, now comes part 2 of this week's ICA. I want you to think of a commercial that you remember from when you were a kid. A commercial with a situation that couldn't possibly happen in real life. Okay? That's part 2. I want you to think of and describe a commercial that you remember seeing as a kid. One that had a situation that couldn't possibly happen in real life. Similar to the Alpha-Bits commercial.